John 15:13. Greater love has no man than this, than to lay down one's life for his friend. You shall love your neighbors yourself. There is no greater commandment. People don't realize what it means to lay down your life necessarily. Most people think it means like jumping in front of a car to save someone, and don't realize it's basically the same as John the Baptist publicly rebuking Herod cost him his life. So here's a story in Oregon. A woman was just sentenced to 7 years. People are upset that it's only 7 years. A woman slashes man's throat on camera. Prosecutors throw out attempted murder charge, and she only gets 7 years. And so to save money on courts, they did that. And I really think that shouldn't be up to the DA without the victim signing off on it. That's just wrong. But anyway, apparently she was at a Taco Bell. Her food was taking too long. She started to verbally berate the employees. This guy comes in and intervened verbally to deter her from berating the employees. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about what he said and how he could have done a whole lot better. But basically, he did that. She didn't like that, so she went outside, got a box knife, came back inside, snuck up behind him, and swiped at him from ear to throat, and nearly cut the artery here. He'd have bled out. But he lived, but has a terrible scar. So, he did the right thing. My daughter points out, although what he said wasn't good, it was better than nothing. Technically, most people would stay out of it. And I wonder if he knew that it would cost him this much if he would have then said anything. But the point I want to make is loving somebody with exhortation can get you killed. What he said to her was zip it. Okay. It is better than nothing, but it's wrong. Because that's a demand and sort of an insult. He could have said to her, hey, could you please not be so loud? Or, if you think the employees have done you wrong, should you do them wrong in return? I mean, these are better exhortations that can lead to repentance. But it doesn't matter. The ego can still get offended even though you did it in a kind way and interpret it that you didn't do it in a kind way, that you were rude. Like when my ex-neighbor was being rude, he claimed that my wife was rude to him in her request, asking him to move the bike. He interpreted it that way, but it wasn't reality. And he ended up repenting. But it says down here what he said. Yeah, he told her to zip it. I told her to be quiet. Don't give people commands. Don't say, hey, be quiet to a complete stranger. You should say, hey, could you please be quiet? I mean, I even do that with my kids. Those are my kids, and I don't give them commands because I don't want them giving me commands. There's one command I have given my kids they can give me. And we give each other, and that is freeze. And we do it as a game, just for fun, so that we're sharp, because when there's an emergency, maybe he knows something I don't know. Maybe I'm about to walk in front of a car, and my son can say freeze. And that's where we mostly use it, is in rather than yelling, stop, which can be traumatizing because it's startling. But hey, I just want to remind you that loving your neighbor with exhortation is what it means to lay down your life. It can get you killed. Like I said, I wonder if this guy would have done it again, knowing it would have cost him as much. And my advice to you, where it says here, zip it or be quiet, don't say that. Say, could you please be quiet? Hey, do you realize you're doing them wrong while saying they did you wrong? And you basically just said you're a hypocrite, and they might kill you for that. To say nothing because you might be killed means that your motive of saying nothing is selfish, which means you're putting yourself first, which means it's not love, it's now hatred to not say something. So my daughter, she's 18, she made that really good point. At least he said something. Pretty sharp gal.